And first of all, we need to go to spring.io, where we can get our initializer, right? So we can initialize our application using Spring Initializer. And here we're gonna pick Maven, and we can change or not this one, but you remember we need to provide KG, Edu, Alatu, and stuff. And adding dependencies, we have to add web, we have to add H2, Thymeleaf, and JPA, Spring Data JPA, and I guess DevTools. I guess this is enough. All the same thing you can see here on the page on the week 3. You can see the same stuff, screenshot of this configuration. Okay, so let's generate this one and have our demo zip. Then we can unzip it here. Okay, we already have demo folder. Let's remove it and unzip it. Okay, extract here. So we have demo. Now we can close this, open the project, open, and let's see this demo. The first time you run it, you will have dependencies to be indexed, but since I have already worked with this project, I have already loaded before it being cached in my version on my computer. So we have demo applications which can be actually run, but we need, of course, the controllers added, repositories, and other stuff. So let us start with adding first. So let's add the package with controllers and add just main controller, which will provide the main controller to us. Let's say it will be controller, and let's say get mapping. So we'll get just simple mapping on home page, public string main, and return index. So we'll have the main page working right now. So if we run this application on the main page, we should see localhost 80, was it 8080? Okay, so we're having this this mistake. Why? Because I guess we don't have this index HTML. Let's try to create in templates index HTML here. So it will be HTML file. Let's say it will be index. And so we also need to add here XMLNS, Thymeleaf, HTTP, www, thymeleaf.org, if I'm not mistaken. And let's just provide something h1 hello. Let's see what we'll have if we run this. Yeah, we have it hello. So this is solved by adding template. We'll change it later. So for now, we are sure that everything works. So apart from controller, if we are working with database with data JPA, it means Java persistence application. We need to add class for, let's say we need to add first package for our models. So let's say our model will be so we will do task tracker or student tracker, whatever. So what we're gonna make, what kind of, okay, let's make student then, like student. And so what is that abstraction of the student? What should we have? So first we write entity here, and let's say we should have ID, so we should generate that value, and let's say ID here, and we say private long ID. So ID is the must-have for any table, right? Which should be automatically generated, automatically indexed. So we have it anyway. And other columns, what should be other columns there? Tell me. Okay, it should be type, should be string, name. Is it enough? Okay, JPA then. Column, private, GPA should be person double, GPA. Okay, so we have these three tables. Also, we will need to generate getters and setters, because having getters and setters, we'll be able to change values of the model and so on. So let's say we'll need to press Alt Insert and set getter and setters, and pressing Shift I will select all of them, and I have all the setters getters. Yeah, I guess you already know that, right? And the last thing we need to create, not the last, but we need repositories. Repository is the way we can operate with some information, with the data. We can select all, find all, limit, and do other SQL operations without SQL actually. So for that purposes we'll need repositories. So let's create repository. Oops, why it's like this? Repository, and let's create a new Java class and say student repository. And we pick, instead of class, interface. We pick the interface and we write here repository, and it should extend CRUD repository, because we work with the CRUD logic. CRUD, create, read, update, and delete. And we add here our, as an object we'll pass student, and as the second parameter long, because we have ID long. That's all. So actually there is a hidden implementation about what it should do, but if you want extra abilities like filtering, like selecting first two and sorted and other stuff, you have to write them by yourself, okay? I'll show it later. By now this is enough, I guess. So we have created controller, class of the model, which actually will be converted to database, and repository. So we have this one, all of them, and we need to go to our controller, and actually we need to pass here the model. So we need to add this model. You see it's red, so we need to press Alt Enter and pick one of them. So there's two options. We need to pick first, which says Spring Framework UI. Okay, so next we need to say model, add attribute, and say we're gonna take all students from student database, but we need some repository. So we need to add here auto-wired. Auto-wired means we will connect this repository, and without creating the object, it will be usable automatically. Okay, not repository, but student repository, and the same object. It means So you see, we don't actually initialize it, but we will be able to, for instance, run find all, and it means we will get all the students from this repository. Currently we have 0 students and 0 tables. We don't even have a database created, right? So okay, so we have this one, and this will be students will be passed to Thymeleaf template with this one. So we are not touching this right now, and I guess we need to create we need to go to application properties. This is another file where we configure adding some configuration like database connect. So currently we have H2 database, and so you have to write application and, for instance, data source and some configuration. I don't remember. You can, so no one should remember this, of course, if you work a lot, but you can take it from my example here. Of course you have to try to understand this. This is in week 3, and here we have GIST link where yes, yeah, not application, Spring, right? Spring data source URL. So first we provide Java database controller connection, sorry, and here we have provide H2. If you will have MySQL, Microsoft SQL, Oracle, or Postgre, you write the name of a provider here, and you provide other options here. For instance, you can use memory-based H2 database, which will be wiped out after you will restart application, or you can use file-based. Currently, I'm using file-based, and this means it will create this. It's in current folder of a project. So we can copy this one and paste. Next thing we have driver. So we'll just copy and paste this one. Just we need to understand that Spring data source driver class name is used by H2 driver. So again, if you use MySQL, you have to search for appropriate connection. Okay, we can actually copy all of this, but we actually need to understand what all of this. So username is our database username, password, and actually this one is saying what kind of dialect of the SQL we have. This one will create tables based on the classes with entity annotation. It means it will create the student database with all fields we provided. There are 3 fields, and if you have more tables, it will all create based on the entities and the classes and entities, right? And also we need we can write a SQL script and, for instance, inject something at the beginning if we need. So for instance, we want to see some data without adding some data manually. So we can write a script which will add, for instance, 2 students or 10 students, so we can do some testing. Or you can like drop the table or do any kind of operations with SQL, like additional ones. And this one means defer data source initialization true, which is very important, because if your SQL will be initialized earlier than tables will be created, then you will have the problems, because how you can insert data into the table if table doesn't exist. So there should be deferring, like waiting for this to finalize, and then after that you have to initialize some scripts. So to do some scripts, we need to create a new script. Let's create a new script here. Okay, file data SQL, for instance. And actually we have here in the same, we have this data SQL. You see, I can add some student here, like we already have name, GPA, Ruslan, and my GPA 3, for instance. We can add as more as we want. For instance, another will be Ibek, whose the GPA will be 3.5, and for instance Suleiman, which GPA will be 3. What's your GPA? 8? Are you sure? Okay, 3.8. So we're saving this. This will be executed at the beginning, and I already tried to explain this part. We can close it. We don't need it anymore. And actually, so if we rerun this application, what will happen? Let's see. So it will actually create some table here. It should create. Okay, we have some error. That happens. It says, what was the mistake here? Okay, maybe I forgot. Download what? So what's the problem here? So this DB have been created here. We have everything. Create always and defer here. So what is the issue? Is the problem in this one? No, I guess not. So it says the problem here in this insert into student name GPA values, this values. You think so? Okay, let's try. I don't think it was an issue. Yeah, same mistake. Insert. Okay. Yeah, so it was GPA name ID. Okay, everything is smooth here. So what is the problem? Oh, well, inserting the student values. Well, it's SQL. We don't need this. Okay, let's try this one. Not sure what is the mistake here right now, but it says that okay, so what can be mistake here? Actually, it's doesn't matter. So it doesn't says that the okay, so so it says some mistake here. How can we fix it? Student long, maybe this one. Let's see. So let's see if I have done some mistakes. Generated value. Okay, yeah, strategy. Yeah, maybe I forgot this one. Yeah. And maybe I have to switch the places. And this one should be added. I see, maybe if it was an issue, right? Yeah, seems Seems now it's fixed. Okay. But okay, so we have this one. So now it works. We have these 3 students here added. But now we need to see. Yeah, we need to. No, okay. We already on index page. This is index page, the main page. But we need to go to our templates and see index.html, right? So we need to add some table. So let's add some table row, and add some what? Okay, table data. So we can say, what was that? ID name and GPA. So next table row will consist of table data, but here we'll write, instead of this one, we'll write Thymeleaf each. This means iterator. So usually we cannot add some kind of this inside of HTML, but since it's the templater which will be parsed to normal HTML, so it will be some new values will be added. So we need to say students from. So if we need to work with some value passed from, so we're passing in controller students here, remember? So we're getting this all students passing as a model to index.html, and there now can we work with these students, and we iterate through each student. We're taking student from students, and we can say th text student ID, and the same we can do for with name and GPA. So now it should work. Let's see. Let's run it and see what we have. Okay. Yeah. Now we have our values here added, and so we can work with them. So you see, it's very easy. So if you want to add some beauty to your web page, you can add, for instance, you get Bootstrap, right? Bootstrap. So adding Bootstrap will make your website more beautiful. So I'm adding this via CDN. So I need to copy this CDN link and this script link. I also would like to make it defer to not load before the page loads, and let's see how it will change wall page. Well, it changed a bit, not much. Maybe if I go to and see how yes, we need to find tables inside of it, and yeah, we need to add class table here, and it should change it a bit. Okay, now it looks different. So that's it, how you can do this application. Actually, we can add forms and other stuff. So your task actually will be to create a button which will filter out, for instance, GPAs which are lower than 3.5, for instance. So it shouldn't display Ruslan at this point. So your task is to add some point which should filter out these other guys from this table. Try to do this, try to understand how it works. That's all.